All right, so of course all of this is to do with the BRICS economic bloc, and at the moment the BRICS Political Parties Plus Dialogue is underway here in Gauteng. It's the second day. More than 54 parties from various countries are attending. And let's now speak to our reporter, Pule Letshwiti-Jones, who is there this evening. Pule, thank you so much for joining us. I would imagine that this news that Vladimir Putin is not going to be attending the main summit next month is a big talking point. Tell us more.
Definitely, it is a big talking point here at the BRICS Political Party Plus Dialogue. And what we understand now is that the Russian government, of course, will be represented during the BRICS summit that's expected to take place in a few weeks. We know the International Corporations Minister from that country, Sergei Lavrov, will be making his way into the country. It's not the first time he's come to South Africa. He actually was here last month for the BRICS Ministers Foreigners meeting that took place in Cape Town. But all of this comes just a day or 2 days before the DA was expected to head to court to compel the president of the South African government to issue that warrant of arrest against the Russian president, Vladimir Putin, for the alleged war crimes. But to join me right now is, of course, ANC First Deputy Secretary General, Ms. Nomvula Mkonyane, speaking to us regarding these latest developments. Thank you very much for chatting to us this evening. Let's touch on the commissions that have been taking place. What's the latest around there, and has this issue been touched on?
Thank you very much for this opportunity. We had good deliberations post the commissions at plenary, and amongst other issues that came out of the deliberations is that the meeting must go ahead, and of importance Russia, and a well-known foreign affairs minister with a history of being involved in different platforms to deal with the issues around promotion of multilateralism, the issues related to peace and stability, and even here at plenary, together with various other parties and members of BRICS, we all supported what was presented by the African National Congress at plenary when this issue arose. And amongst other things that we registered was to appreciate the efforts that have been made by Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa on behalf of the South African government, and that this announcement actually helps put an end to months of international speculation about the circumstances under which the BRICS summit in South Africa will be held. We look forward to getting down to the real stuff, and the stuff part of it emanating from these deliberations here at Birchwood, as well as mapping out strategic future for the BRICS partnership together with other South-South cooperation initiatives. This is quite important because the discussions have also looked at the various other partnerships other than just joining BRICS, and looking at the criteria as amongst other things, as well as access and support through the use of the development bank, as well as the promotion of alternative currency in the area of trade. So these are the things that are quite important, and some of them have been sponsored by Russia, as it is represented here, but they've now emerged as resolutions and recommendations that have been endorsed by plenary now, and tomorrow they will be reflected in our declaration. The most important thing, the Russian government has not pulled out. The Russian government wants to see this conference going ahead unhindered, and of course the plenary also registered serious reservations about what all of us say we need to look at. The unilateral imposition of punishment against individuals, whether through heads of state or punishment through the introduction of sanctions without following due processes. And therefore the respect and implementation of the UN Charter becomes very important. So we are delighted. Comrades from Russia are quite delighted. Many of them are now hard at work, sitting to finalize the declaration and also support the motion that was presented and also supported by everybody.
What will this achieve for BRICS? I mean, the Russian president not coming here. What will be the outcome of all of this in terms of your relationship and the ties you have with Russia as well in future?
What is good is that the Russian government looked at what is of interest to Russia, as well as to the BRICS partners, that this conference that is going to take place must never be used as an excuse again to impose unilateral decisions. Because that's exactly what the eNCA has always said. And hence we are also calling for the transformation of the ICC. So what it actually means is that we have been all strategic, because we refused to be pushed to take a decision. We allowed consultation until it was not the South African government, but it became the decision of the Russian government that they will be represented and that they will not pull out of this conference, and that President Putin will be represented by the Foreign Affairs Minister, who also is one of those people who are looking forward to welcome here, as he will be representing the government of Russia.
Did you face threats of losing financial and political ties with the Western counterparts had the Russian president arrived and set foot on soil for that BRICS summit?
We never faced threats. We received views that were presented before the African National Congress, amongst others the issues related to our stance of being non-aligned. And what we're happy about, it means our stance of being non-aligned does pay off. Here we did not say we choose, and it is the Russian government that chose.
Thank you very much. Of course, that's Mr. Mvula Mkonyane from the ANC, just giving us a bit of feedback around the commissions that took place earlier on today in regards to one of the most important topics around the Russian President Vladimir Putin no longer coming or will not longer be attending the BRICS summits that will be taking place in a few weeks' time. But we also do understand that this political parties dialogue is set to end tomorrow, where we will be receiving a declaration or outcome of some of the inputs that have been given in by over 45 parties from different countries, which are currently here to discuss, amongst other things, the expansion of BRICS and ensuring how parties that will be involved in BRICS may benefit economically, and also speak to issues around peace and stability within their countries as well.
Well, thank you so much for that update. eNCA reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones at that meeting of political parties ahead of the important summit, BRICS summit, taking place here in South Africa next month. Well,